Okay, good morning, good day. 29, the last day of the year, day before Rosh Chodesh. So, 29 Nisan, Hayom Yom. But before we begin, Refuah Shleimus. Anybody? No? Then I'll lead with Refuah Shleimus to
Okay.
Baruch Ben Yamin Ben Rachel Blima. Should have a
Thank,
Refuah Shleimus.
thank you. I couldn't unmute. Shoshana Bas Hana. Yehudis Golda Bas Elisa Hana. Havid Bas Naomi Hana.
Refuah Shleimus to all of them.
Thank you.
May the merit of our learning move without Refuah right along,
Amen.
quickly. 29 Nisan, here we go. The introduction to Likutei Torah of three parshas, on three parshas. This is a hemshech of, it is a hemshech, it's a collection of Maimorim, from the Rebbe Maharash, called Likutei, not to be confused with Likutei Torah of the Alter Rebbe. So the introduction to Likutei Torah on three parshas is the mimer, which begins, to understand the matter of the godly soul. It is written, you shall not eat, ... This refers to a pasuk in Vayikra, that you can't eat the korban before the sprinkling of the blood. That there's the seder in offering korbanos. So that's the Divrei Hamaskil, the beginning words of the mimer. All right, this mimer was originally said by the Alter Rebbe to the Tzemach Tzedek. The Tzemach Tzedek repeated the mimer in the Alter Rebbe's presence, who then said to him, Nu, and the flavoring, or in Hebrew, it's the tam. What's the tam? What I hear the words, but what's it mean? What's the feel? What's the good feel? What's the taste of it? So that's what the Alter Rebbe said to the Tzemach Tzedek, and the Tzemach Tzedek therefore went on, and Tzemach Tzedek then wrote a transcript of the mimer with parenthetical notes. The Alter Rebbe reviewed and corrected the transcript, and he gave an order that the parenthetical notes be entered as part of the body of the mimer text. By the way, that's the case also with Likutei Torah of the Alter Rebbe. Many there are in those Maimorim many insertions that belong to the Tzemach Tzedek, though they're not identified. The mimer just flows, but a lot of it is emendations that were made by the Tzemach Tzedek and approved by the Alter Rebbe there as well. So that's the way that mimer developed, and that particular mimer that we're speaking about here, the last paragraph here, at my father's suggestion, the Frierdiker Rebbe was telling us that there's the suggestion of the Rebbe Rashab, this mimer was selected to serve as an introduction to the Likutei Torah on three parshas of the Rebbe Maharash. Interesting to just pick up a little of the dynamics of how Maimorim developed. And Maimorim are, if there's a source, the source of Chabad Hasidus is, of course, the Alter Rebbe, but like the source of the written Torah, it goes through many devolutions and evolutions and hasboras and explanations, and that's the course of the mimers that begin. All the Maimorim which begin with the same words were started, let's say, by the Alter Rebbe or the Mittler Rebbe, and then you have the Maimorim from our Rebbe. All of them represent this chain of distillation, or I guess to use the words here, bringing out the flavor of what the Maimor was intended to bring out in the first place. All right. That's a Yom Yom. Lessons in Tanya. Back to our discussion of love. Love, love, love. Page 654 in Lessons in Tanya.
It reminds
Elisheva, you're breaking up a lot.
of whatever Huna and everybody's. Oh, sorry. This kind of teaching is reminiscent of the Gemara, where everybody says, like Papa says in the name of Rav Huna and Rav Chanina, and everybody's always quoting their teachers.
That's
and
correct.
Also in the Mishnah that one says he got it from the other one, and maybe we could do a v'chein that when we give over Torah, we could say it in the name of whoever we learned it from.
Oh yeah, you should. It says Chazal have said exactly that. That l'shem Imri, one should always give over the Torah in the name of the one who said it, and it's a should. You should do that. Yes, and that itself dates back to the time of the Gemara when that was said.
May I make a comment, please?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I think we should also recognize that rather than just repeating, it's taking off from the source and giving us something. Each Rebbe gives us something unique from his own perspective.
Sure.
And for the time, appropriate message to the Hasidim at that time.
Yep. And that's what he meant by what's the flavor? What's the taste? Yep, very good. Okay, so Ava. We've got on the table here 2 Avas, right? Can anyone tell me the 2 Avas? 2 levels of love?
Abbas Olam and Abbas Rabba.
Abbas Olam. Yep, Abbas Oila and Abba Rabba.
And then there's Abba B'Tanugim and
we've just mentioned these 2, and sometimes Abba B'Tanugim is equated with Abba Rabba, but he's giving us just 2 general categories right now. But Abbas Olam, maybe you can go a little further, someone. And what is Abbas Olam? Why is it called Abbas Olam?
There's an appreciation and love for Hashem by seeing his actions in this world.
Excellent. Anybody? And what about Abba Rabba? What's Abba Rabba?
Through
That's
meditation.
An inheritance?
No, Abba Rabba. Anyone else? The
Inheritance?
Abbas Olam can come. The Abbas Olam and the Ava in general is an inheritance that we have. Avosenu, as he told us above, particularly, excuse me, from the father Abraham, whose midah is chesed, and chesed is love. And this love of the world, that we've been speaking about, both love is there, right? The love is there. Abbas Olam can be brought forth, be revealed through meditation. And Abba Rabba, he said to us earlier, and I mentioned this is similar to the quantum leap between the Beinoni and the Tzaddik. Abba Rabba is a gift that comes from above. So those are the 2 loves. Now he's going to introduce, and I'll say these words, and as we're starting in the middle of Pez Sameh Gimel, the Ava Rabba v'Gedolim Mizu, a love which is greater, bigger, and greater than this, meaning this being Avat Olam, but still a love that we can cultivate, not the one that's gifted from above. There is a love which is Gedolim Mizu, and what is this? This love, V'hi Mesuteres Gamkein, and it's hidden also. I mean, as I said earlier, love in general is hidden in the heart. It's invested in our, quote, spiritual DNA as an inheritance particularly from Avram Avinu. It's also concealed in our heart, B'chol Nefesh Miyisrael. It's also concealed in the soul of every Jewish person, B'Yerusha Me'avosenu. And the Rebbe points out this in his notes on the Tanya, that this is when we say Yerusha from Avosenu, we're particularly talking about Avraham, whose midah is chesed, and which the midah is chesed, and the result of the chesed is love. So, another love that's hidden in the heart and in the soul of every Jewish person from our fathers. That's which is spoken about in the Zohar in the section Raya Mehemna. And the Zohar quote says, like a child, literally a son, a child who strives after his mother and his father and his mother. He loves them more than his own self and his own soul, v'ruchaya, and his own ruach. So this is I'll give up my life for my parents. That's an essential connection. It doesn't come from contemplation. It comes from the fact that the parents you are born from them, you're part of them, you're spawned from them, and you'll give your life for them. So that's what the Zohar says. And it's in the Alter Rebbe says, it goes on and says, and when it comes to Hashem himself, you're willing to give up your life for your father, because there's one father to all of us. So that's the love of Mesiras Nefesh. The love that's revealed by Mesiras Nefesh. Even though who can possibly oirev liboy, presume in his heart, lageshes lahasig, to reach, to touch, and to approach and to reach, afilo chelet echad minei elef mimedregas avis raya mehemna. Who could possibly presume to reach even one piece of 1,000, 1 in 1,000th piece of the level of love that is the level of the Raya Mehemna, which is Moshe Rabbeinu. Right? We said that everybody, we said earlier, every Jewish person has a piece of Moshe Rabbeinu in his soul. And who could presume to have that level of love? Mikol Mokim, nevertheless, Hari Efes could say who b'shemetz minehu, a little bit of a trace, a piece, a trace of it, mirav tuvoi, from that great goodness, ba'oiroi, and that love, meir leklalos Yisrael, shines in the generality of all Jewish people, b'chol dor v'dor, in each and every generation. In another section of the Zohar, it says the ispashtu soya, that the flow from the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu is bechol dor v'dor, is in each and every generations, l'han horoloin, to illuminate us. So we all have that. And we said this earlier. This was brought earlier, earlier where the Alter Rebbe told us, there's also a very big distillation of that love of Moshe Rabbeinu in the Tzaddik Ador, or the eyes of the congregation of that generation. So everyone has that. Rak, except this ha'ora that we have planted, this illumination, this ray of light that we have from the beam of light, which is Moshe Rabbeinu, who of course gets his light from Hashem himself. Yeah, Peiros Moshe, it's called. Hashem invested his wisdom in Moshe, in the Torah that he gave to Moshe. And all of us have some of that. However, in general, it's in the bechinas of Hester Behelim, concealment and covered over. Gadol, very much, in the Nefashis called basis role in the soul of everyone who belongs to the house of Israel. So now we have a technique, another meditation, another thing to bring to the table to help us with, okay, we have it, but what good is it if it's concealed? And to bring forth or bring out this love which is concealed and covered up and hidden, El Hagilui, to revelation, and to bring it into a state of revealedness in our heart and in each of our hearts and minds. It's not a wondrous thing to be able to do that. And it's and it's not far from you to be able to do it. Ella, back to the frontispiece of the Tanya itself. Remember? The way to do it is by doing it. The way to bring forth the love? Well, we have a mitzvah, right? We have mitzvahs of the heart. It's a mitzvah to love Hashem. They wouldn't be commanded to be a mitzvah if it's not something you could do. In fact, we say it every day. And one simple translation is, and you should love. Another translation is, and you will love. If you step up to should loving, meaning do the contemplations, do the meditations, do the paying attention to what you're saying in davening, and feel it in your heart, because all the words are there. You know, the difference between just skimming a poem and reading a poem and living with a poem. Right? I'm using a poem because a poem usually is something that has hidden in it something very deep, and it's there for the taking, but you have to take it. You have to take it. You should love. You have to, and you will love. So it's korav alecha hadavar ma'ed b'ficha u'levavecha la'asaysim, to do it. It comes by doing the mitzvahs, including the mitzvahs of the heart, one of which is the mitzvah to avos, loving Hashem. Hanuliyas rogel, as he says. I'll just turn the page, 126. As he says, liyas rogel al l'shoinai, the koila. It should be habitual, customary. Ruggle is from foot, right? The way you walk. It should become the way you walk. Your everydayness. On your tongue and in your voice. Right? These are mitzvahs of the heart. Kavanas, which are mitzvahs. Kavanas liboy, to arouse the intentionality in the heart and your brain. To deepen your thoughts. Contemplate, meditate. Think about this stuff. Take a few words of davening, the phrases, and just live with them for a moment. Live with the poetry of David HaMelech, and live with the inner meaning of that you're picking up along the way as you learn more and more Chassidus. Lahamek liboy moichai, lahamek mashavte, to deepen your thought. Bechaya chayim enso baruch hu, in the life of lives, who is the infinite one, may he be blessed. Ki hu avinu, mamish. A simple thought, right? This is what the whole little piece. The love that you have, that a child has, that he is willing to give his life for his parents. And think about who Hashem is, your father. Mamish. Mamish. Amiti, he's your true father. Umakar chayenu. And he is the source of your life. And think about that. And make it become part of your daily life and your daily heartfelt expression, and in that way arouse to him a love, like the love of a child to a father. And when a person accustoms oneself to this, to do this, right? To do this, to do the mitzvah of V'ahavta. When a person accustoms himself to do this, tamid, continually, hare hahergal nasa teva, your habit will become your nature. This is your nature in the first place, but your habit will allow you to reveal the nature of your supernatural reality, which is that you are always connected with your Father in heaven. That's today's time. Yeah, just making sure. All right, any comments, questions on that? Rosa.
Good morning. I do have a comment,
Please.
Which I don't know, I'm not so familiar. I saw this in a sefer. I know it's quoted in the name of the Lavush. I'm not so familiar who the Lavush was. I think he was a earlier commentator.
I'm not sure myself. Go ahead.
So he says that, we rise on our toes when we say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh.
Yeah.
And when we rise on our toes, we're really trying to fly like the angels fly.
Right.
As it says about the angels that they have wings. They fly with two wings.
Right.
So then the Lavush says on this, in rising on our toes for a brief moment, we imitate the attempt of the Chayos to show that we want We want to come closer to Hashem. But then we lower ourselves because we realize that we're mere people and we cannot appreciate such a great revelation. But what we can do is this fleeting rising toward Hashem, even if it can only last for a short time. So what I got out of that is like when I'm listening now is like, even if you could achieve this meditation for a short time, even if you like kind of rise above for a short time, you've accomplished something. That's what's
that's correct.
Symbolized by our rising on our toes.
We
can't fly all, we can't continue to stay on our toes for a long time. And it can't, but we have to know that every flash of inspiration, a flash of greatness is also greatness.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. You can't stand on your toes very long, but you can stand on your toes more often.
Yeah.
And that's what he's saying. Accustom yourself to it, Here as many moments as possible. Yes. Peshurivka, you're up.
Hi, thank you. We've talked about developing habits before, but here the Alter Rebbe gives us grounding and encouragement to the fact that the habits are consonant with our nature. And I think that should be an encouragement and a support for the fact that you can do this because it's consistent with your essence,
it's really it's really learning how to express who you really are.
Yeah, so that's an added feature that's, I think, really important.
Beautiful. Excellent. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
The question is, like, I know the contemplation in this is different than walking around and seeing Hashem's greatness in everything in every way, but isn't the goal still then ahavas olam? Like, isn't that?
Yeah, well, neither of these. Now we got three on the table, right? The Ahavas olam, Avarabba, and this one, which encompasses all of them, are greater than. All three are on the table. Right. Absolutely, all three. Right. Not a contradiction.
No, I didn't think it was a contradiction. I just was wondering if it was just sort of the same thing,
Well, no, it's sort of, but not. I mean, the difference is in the simple words that he uses. One, Ahavas olam, contemplation, as someone at the beginning of the class expressed very well, seeing the godliness hidden in everything. Right. And this is thinking about that you're always connected spiritually and therefore and in reality, but on a spiritual level, with your Father in heaven. This is like you owe your life to him constantly.
Right.
Yeah. So both of them, they're just different angles on an approach to bringing forth Ahavas Hashem, loving Hashem. Therefore,
love Hashem.
Love Hashem. V'ahavta es Hashem elakecha bechol levavecha.
Right.
Bechol levavecha. And one of the Pirushim on bechol levavecha, I'm sure some of you have come across this. Why doesn't it just say with your heart? Why does it say bechol levavecha? And the answer is, this is actually from Chazal, b'shnei yetzurecha. You have to love Hashem with both of your yetzers, your yetzer toiv and your yetzer hora. What does that mean? That you have to bring the animal around. It isn't just the godly soul. And we've talked about this many times, the Mizl Rebbe's mashal, about how when you train the animal and bring the animal to the grinding wheel, to the yoke, then the animal can cause the man to reach a place that he couldn't do on his own. In other words, the animal soul can lift up the godly soul. So use your animalness and get animated. This is why really, this is the reason. That's why some styles of davening are really loud and screaming, because get your body involved. Bring them both together. Because typically you don't find that kind of advice in Chabad, but you'll find it in other places. So, love Hashem. Anybody else?
Just beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank the Alter Rebbe. And on this idea about Ubechein, love Hashem, nice, easy to say, but he told us, do something a few times a day. Rogel, make it your habit. Every, as in Roy's, to stand up on your toes often during the day and acknowledge and be grateful for and thrilled that you have a Father in heaven with whom you are always connected deep down inside, and enjoy that and feel it. All right. Anybody else?
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.